True success is not shaped by what you do occasionally. It's carved out through the actions you commit to when no one is looking. Each day arrives wrapped in noise, distractions, and constant demands. Most people merely respond, drifting through life, pulled by the tides of circumstance. But those who evolve, those who ascend, are the ones who discipline their mind, body, and inner life, every single day, like a dedicated warrior. Victory in life's arena is not won by luck. It is earned through preparation, persistence, and consistency. These are not traits you practice once in a while. They are disciplines to be cultivated daily. Why? Because the life you dream of is hidden in the details of your routine. Your mindset is not a passive feature of who you are. It is the command center from which your life unfolds. And like any powerful engine, it requires maintenance, sharpening, and deliberate control. Every thought you dwell on is either helping you rise or pulling you down. You can't disregard your thoughts and still hope for lasting success. The external world you experience is always echoing the internal one you carry. If your inner dialogue is soaked in fear, comparison, hesitation, or self-doubt, no amount of talent or luck will save you. You'll find ways to sabotage your own efforts. That's why, before the world places its hands on you each morning, you must place your own hands on your thoughts. Ask yourself, what am I choosing to focus on? Am I rooted in fear or in trust? Limitation or possibility? Because the energy you carry throughout your day is directly shaped by what you meditate on in those first few moments. Your mindset is not fixed. It's not a trait you're born with. It's a muscle, and like all muscles, it strengthens with use or withers with neglect. If you habitually visualize failure, then hesitation will greet you when opportunity knocks. If you replay past errors like a broken record, you'll walk into your future already doubting your strength. But if you condition your mind to view struggle as growth, missteps as learning, and effort as evidence of commitment, you start to rewire yourself for persistence, courage, and progress. This isn't about pretending life is always easy. This isn't blind optimism. It's deliberate alignment, choosing to respond with clarity and power. While you cannot always alter what happens around you, you can train how you see it. And within that shift lies your true strength. Those who reach the heights of success aren't free from fear or doubt. What sets them apart is their ability to confront these voices and respond with a higher truth. They have learned to observe their thoughts, challenge them, and speak to themselves with purpose. Even when circumstances seem bleak, every single day, you're either conditioning your mind for greatness or leaving it vulnerable to average. That's why intention matters. Speak with clarity. Visualize with confidence. Picture the version of yourself who has already triumphed over what currently tests you. Don't sit around hoping confidence will magically appear. Build it. Lay the foundation with the affirmations you repeat, the habits you protect, and the vision you refuse to abandon. The voice you hear most in life is your own. Make sure it's speaking power, not weakness. This is the invisible work, the quiet training that no one claps for when results feel far away and the pressure is high. But if you remain committed, everything changes. Because life doesn't respond to what you merely want, it responds to who you are becoming. And who you are becoming starts within. Discipline is the unseen bridge between who you are today and who you're capable of becoming. And discipline doesn't rely on motivation. It's grounded in the promises you make to yourself, the ones you keep, not just when you feel inspired, but when the spark is gone and no one is watching. Too many people are waiting for a feeling to arrive before they act. But those who build something meaningful understand. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline is different. It says, I will show up regardless. It's in the morning alarm you refuse to snooze. The training session you do when your muscles are tired. The difficult task you finish even though your mind seeks distraction. Discipline is what separates those who dabble from those who master. It divides dreamers from doers, talkers from builders. Each day you must construct a framework around your time that protects your greater vision. Because if you don't consciously shape your day, the chaos of life will do it for you. Discipline is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things with relentless consistency, especially when progress feels invisible. Discipline is treating your time like a sacred currency. It's saying no to things that weaken your growth, and yes to what strengthens your future. It's completing what you started, even when no one is there to applaud you. The truth is, success doesn't land on your lap. It's created through layers of repeated, focused effort driven not by fleeting inspiration, but by daily commitment. And the more you choose discipline, the more natural it becomes. It develops like a muscle, through repetition and under resistance. Most people don't fail due to a lack of ability. They fail because they lack the discipline to stay consistent. They allow their emotions to override their mission. But emotional weather should not dictate life's direction. You cannot build something extraordinary if you surrender every time the process gets uncomfortable. Everyone wants the dream, but few are willing to pay the cost. And that cost is paid in daily dedication. Champions don't train when it's easy. They train because it's necessary. They don't wait for the perfect day. They keep showing up until mastery becomes their reality. Discipline is the signal that your actions speak louder than your hopes, that your rituals are aligned with your vision, that you aren't waiting for success, you're becoming the kind of person success is drawn to. So stop hoping for better conditions. Start becoming better in discipline, in focus, in commitment. Because when you live by discipline, you no longer chase results. The results begin to chase you. Your physical body is not just a vessel, it is the foundation upon which every goal, every dream, and every aspiration is built. And yet, in the pursuit of ambition, health is often the first thing we trade away. We forget that even the most brilliant mind or inspired vision cannot thrive in a body that is depleted, inflamed, or exhausted. Your body is not merely flesh and bone. It is the living temple that carries your energy, your clarity, and your ability to act. If you neglect it, ignore it, or push it to the edge without recovery, it will eventually become the barrier that stops your progress, no matter how deep your purpose or how fierce your drive. You can have unshakable discipline and the best strategies in the world, but if your health is running on borrowed energy, your path will be built on fatigue, not fire. There is no wisdom in building a castle on a cracking foundation. Your vitality is the silent power behind your focus, your decision-making, and your emotional resilience. Health rarely screams for your attention until it's nearly gone. That's when the cost becomes visible. Your energy dips, your clarity fogs, your spirit feels heavy, and you begin to question why everything feels harder than it should. But by then, the repair is greater than the prevention would have been. That's why honoring your health must become a daily discipline, not an afterthought, not something you revisit when it's convenient or when the damage starts to show, but something you cultivate, like breath, like thought, intentionally and without delay. Move your body, not as punishment, but as a celebration of life. Stretch, walk, run, dance, breathe deeply. Let your system know it is alive and built for movement. Feed yourself with intention, not just for pleasure. Let your meals serve your mission, not just your mood. Hydrate like your brain depends on it, because it does. Drink water, not because it's trendy, but because it is essential. Sleep like you understand that recovery is where true performance is born, because it's not the hustle that sharpens you, it's the healing. There is no pride in burning out. There is no glory in pushing through when your body is waving red flags. True warriors train, but they also rest. And rest, when earned and respected, is not weakness, it is wisdom. You cannot lead powerfully, think clearly, or love deeply when your body is drained. And don't believe the myth that you can neglect your health now and catch up later. There is no catching up. Your body keeps score of every skipped workout, every sleepless night, every meal made in haste. But the same is true in reverse. Every small act of care compounds. One workout leads to another. One nutritious meal becomes a habit. One deep breath quiets the storm. And slowly, silently, without applause, your strength returns. Your focus sharpens. Your confidence grows not because you overhauled your life overnight, but because you chose to honor your health one day at a time. Your wellness is not a luxury. It is a responsibility. And if you delay that responsibility, life will force you to make time for illness. But if you protect your health now, it becomes the silent partner that carries you through the long nights, the heavy seasons, the moments that test your limits. Success requires stamina. Dreams require durability. Energy is the real currency in a world that never slows down. So don't wait for illness to remind you of what matters. Make your health a non-negotiable, not for how you look, but for how you live. Because a strong body fuels a strong mind, and together, they allow you to show up not just with force, but with flow. Part 2: Focus. The rare power in a world where distractions are engineered and your attention is constantly under siege. Focus has become a rare and powerful force. It is no longer a soft skill. It is a survival tool. The direction of your life is quietly being sculpted by what you choose to focus on each day. Focus is the doorway to mastery, to clarity, to creation. But most people give their attention away cheaply, to every notification, every headline, every piece of noise that offers urgency, but holds no meaning. The real danger isn't just in what you're doing, it's in what you're missing. Every time your attention drifts to something that doesn't matter, you rob your dreams of progress. The most successful individuals are not the busiest. They are the most intentional. They guard their attention like a vault, because they know what you water grows, and what you neglect dies. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters, and doing it well. It's about saying no without guilt. No to distractions. No to energy leaks. No to urgency that isn't aligned with your deepest purpose. Each day, ask yourself, what deserves my energy today? What is the one thing I must protect space for? Because if you don't define your focus, the world will define it for you. Distraction feels like progress, but leads nowhere. Focus feels like discipline, but builds momentum. And momentum is what transforms goals into outcomes. Learn to control your inputs. Be mindful of what you watch, what you read, who you listen to, and what you allow into your mental environment. Every input is either sharpening your focus or clouding your clarity. Build a sanctuary for deep work. Not just a place, but a mindset. One that allows silence, structure, and deep presence. Focus is not a talent, it's a discipline. One that is forged through practice and protected through boundaries. It begins with awareness. Are you reacting or creating? Are you letting the noise guide you, or are you steering the ship? Focus allows you to stop doing 100 things poorly and start doing a few things with excellence. And the ones who shape the world, the ones who leave a legacy, are not the ones who are everywhere, but the ones who go deep, stay rooted, and keep the main thing every single day. In a world that profits off your distraction, reclaiming your focus is a bold act of power. And once you reclaim it, once you learn to channel it, focus becomes your superpower. Not because you do everything, but because you do the right things with uncommon depth. Your emotions are powerful energies. They influence your thoughts, shape your choices, and direct your behaviors. If left unexamined, they become silent rulers, guiding your life without your permission. If you don't take the time to understand and regulate them, your emotions will lead the way, and you'll simply follow. Unchecked emotions can disguise themselves as logic, urgency, or truth. They sneak into your decisions. They whisper in your moments of pressure. and they often push you to act in ways that do not serve your growth. That's why emotional mastery is not a luxury, it's essential. Not just for peace, but for performance. It is what separates those who collapse under chaos from those who remain grounded and clear-headed. Begin by building the habit of observation. Before you respond, pause. Before you react, breathe. There is immense power in the space between stimulus and response. That space is where awareness lives, and awareness is what gives you freedom. Ask yourself regularly, what am I feeling right now? Where is this emotion coming from? Is it based on truth? Is it useful? Most importantly, is this the kind of energy I want to lead with? Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing how you feel. It's about being so aware of your emotions that they do not hijack your actions. It's about giving yourself permission to feel, but not letting those feelings take control. Feelings of fear, anger, insecurity, or doubt are natural, but they don't have to become your identity. They can visit, but they don't have to move in. The key is to observe them, learn from them, and redirect them. When you don't pause, when you don't reflect, emotions make your choices for you. They tell you to quit when it gets hard. They tell you to lash out when you feel threatened. They lead you to compare, to criticize, to chase validation, and to shrink your vision. But when you train yourself to recognize patterns, you begin to reclaim your personal power. You start to see when fear is disguising itself as logic, when impatience is pretending to be urgency, when ego is dressing up as ambition. This kind of awareness makes you strong. It helps you stay calm when others panic. It helps you lead with empathy. It helps you listen deeply and speak wisely, even in pressure-filled environments. You must train your emotions like a muscle, daily, deliberately, with care. Not to become emotionless, but to become emotionally powerful. That means checking in with yourself consistently, becoming fluent in your own emotional language. Because those who can manage their inner state, regardless of outer conditions, are the ones who thrive. The ones who can't remain reactive, pulled by every wave, stuck in cycles of confusion. The storm outside is not your greatest threat. It's the storm inside that needs your attention. Master your emotions, and you master your responses. And through that, you master your direction in life. Part 3. Anchor yourself in vision. Your vision is your inner compass. It guides your decisions, fuels your actions, and shapes your character. Without it, even the hardest work can feel aimless. Even success can feel hollow. Because motion without meaning eventually becomes exhaustion. Every morning, remind yourself, what am I building? Why does it matter? Who am I becoming through this process? Because in the repetition of daily life, it's easy to forget. Life often pulls you into routine, into reaction. Days blur, tasks pile up, and without a clear vision, you begin to mistake busyness for purpose. You start moving, but not progressing. And that's where burnout creeps in. Not because you worked too hard, but because you lost sight of why you began. Your vision is the fire that keeps you going when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's what gives meaning to sacrifice. It's what turns pain into growth. It's what helps you say no to distractions so you can remain available for your real path. Revisit your vision daily, not just when you're discouraged, not just when goals feel far, but every day, because each day you're either feeding your vision or forgetting it. Visualization is not fantasy, it is training. When you mentally see the outcome before it exists, you begin aligning your behavior to that image. You walk with more clarity, you speak with more certainty, you act with deeper conviction. Clarity doesn't arrive by accident. It is cultivated through quiet reflection, through deliberate reminders, through filtering your actions by a singular focus. Does this move me toward what I truly want? When your vision is strong, distractions lose their power. You no longer need to chase everything, because you are building something. Write down your goals. Speak your vision aloud. Surround yourself with reminders of what matters. Reflect not only on what you desire, but on why it matters. Because when you lose connection to your why, your how starts to falter. Your routine starts to feel like a burden. Your journey becomes mechanical. But when your why is alive and clear, everything becomes infused with meaning. Every time doubt creeps in, return to your vision. Every time the path feels hard, return to your vision. Every time the routine feels dull, return to your vision. Your future is not built by chance. It is shaped by what you consistently keep in front of your mind's eye. The clearer your vision, the stronger your direction. The stronger your direction, the faster your progress. And the deeper your progress, the more meaningful your life becomes. Don't let your vision collect dust in the corner of your mind. Don't let the weight of daily life dim the light inside you. Keep it burning. Keep it close. Keep it sacred. Because the one who protects their vision is not easily swayed by distraction or delay. They are anchored, focused, and impossible to deter. Let your vision be your daily meditation and your ultimate compass. Gratitude is not a fleeting feeling. It's a powerful practice, one that anchors your spirit, reshapes your focus, and softens the sharp edges of stress and striving. In a world that constantly pushes you to chase, compare, and want more, gratitude brings you back to what already is. It's not about ignoring your goals. It's about honoring your journey. It's the quiet recognition that, even in the midst of struggle, there is something to be thankful for. Before you launch into your tasks, ambitions, or responsibilities, pause. Reflect on what's good, on what's growing, on the people, the moments, and the unseen grace that shows up again and again without fanfare. Because without this pause, success becomes a treadmill. You run and run, chasing a finish line that keeps moving. Gratitude slows the pace, not to weaken your ambition, but to fuel it with presence. Gratitude doesn't mean you stop improving. It means you stop chasing fulfillment from a place of emptiness. You stop running from a sense of lack. You begin building from a place of enough. A grateful heart doesn't ignore pain, it acknowledges growth. It remembers the storms you've weathered, the fears you've faced, the strength you didn't know you had until you were forced to discover it. And in that remembering, something shifts. You stop measuring your worth by what's missing. You start measuring it by how far you've come. Gratitude elevates your emotions, sharpens your perspective, and expands your energy. It transforms your goals from a desperate search for meaning into an expression of joy. It teaches you that you don't need more to feel worthy. You need clarity. Clarity about what already exists, about what has already bloomed under your feet while you were looking toward the horizon. Start your day by naming 3 things you're thankful for. Write them, speak them, reflect on them. Let gratitude become the lens through which you see your life. Because what you appreciate expands. Not because the world suddenly gives you more, but because you finally notice what was already yours. And that shift changes everything. You become more patient, more creative, more centered. You listen deeper. You speak softer. You lead with compassion instead of competition. And perhaps most importantly, you stop waiting for something external to validate your internal joy. Make gratitude a daily anchor. When the noise rises, return to gratitude. When fear whispers, return to gratitude. When progress feels slow, return to gratitude. It is the reset button for your nervous system, your perspective, and your power. Because when you lead with gratitude, your goals no longer come from lack. They come from love. And in that state, your actions are no longer rooted in proving your worth. They are rooted in expressing your truth. Let gratitude ground you. Let it humble you. Let it elevate you. Because a life rooted in gratitude is a life that grows deeper, not just taller. Part 4. Sharpen the sword of skill. Your skill set is your quiet strength. It's what allows you to solve problems, offer value, and rise above the noise. In a world that's always evolving, standing still is not an option, because if you're not growing, you're falling behind. Skill is not something you wait to develop. It is something you choose to build, brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. Too many people wait until a challenge appears before they decide to prepare. But by then, the window has closed, the opportunity has passed, and they're left watching while others move forward. Growth is not accidental, it is intentional, and mastery is not something you reach in a single moment. It's something you craft over many days. Read, study, practice, not for show, but for substance. Not to impress, but to express. Every small effort adds up. One page, one repetition, one insight, one correction. It all counts. It all builds. And over time, the compound effect of consistency makes the difference between average and exceptional. Skill development is not about intensity, it's about consistency. The goal isn't burnout. The goal is sustainable mastery. Mastery doesn't mean perfection. It means a deep, grounded commitment to improving with purpose. Your value in the world rises in direct proportion to your competence. The more you know, the more you can give. The better you execute, the more trust you earn. The more precise your craft, the more influence you carry. But skill is not handed to you, it is earned. It is sharpened in silence, away from applause. It is developed in the hours no one sees, when you choose study over distraction, practice over passivity, depth over dabbling. Don't just learn from wins, learn from losses. Let your mistakes teach you. Let failure refine you. Understand that greatness is not built in excitement, it's built in repetition. In doing the work when it feels boring, uncomfortable, or slow. Show up with a student's mindset, curious, open, hungry to grow. Let every day become a training ground. Aim to improve just 1%. Push your edge. Expand your ability. Develop the kind of quiet competence that doesn't need to boast. It simply shows complacency is the enemy of excellence. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you begin to slide backward. Your past accomplishments do not guarantee your future. Your current habits do. So sharpen your sword every day, not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's not. Because in a world full of noise, the one who sharpens their skill becomes irreplaceable. The one who builds mastery becomes legendary. True achievement does not exist in isolation. It is deeply intertwined with connection. Your relationships, not just in number, but in depth, are the quiet framework that supports your purpose, your resilience, and your fulfillment. No title, no trophy, no income can replace the value of real connection. Without nurturing those bonds, even the greatest success feels hollow. In the chase for growth, it's easy to lose sight of the people walking beside you, the ones who support you without applause, the ones who see your potential before it's visible. And that's why, each day, you must intentionally invest in those who matter. Not with grand gestures, but with presence, with listening, with patience. True relationships are strengthened, not in highlight reels, but in the quiet consistency of showing up. A moment of undivided attention, a word of encouragement, a hand extended when it's inconvenient. Speaking life into another person is more than giving compliments. It's choosing to believe in them, even when they can't see their own strength. It's standing beside them in their seasons of doubt, of pain, of transition. Connection begins with presence, and presence requires silence, not just in the room, but in your mind. When you set aside distractions, when you really listen, people feel that. They remember it. It creates trust that no words alone can build. Relationships, like anything meaningful, require attention, effort, and a willingness to grow together. They are living ecosystems, and if you neglect them, they wither. If you tend them, they thrive. So don't wait until conflict arises to communicate. Don't assume that people will stay connected without cultivation. Be proactive. Send the message. Make the call. Show up. Speak love. Build rituals that anchor you to those who matter. shared walks, honest conversations, intentional time, even in short moments. Because when all else fades, it's the quality of your relationships that remains. They become your mirror, your anchor, your legacy. So, measure your success not just by what you achieve, but by how deeply you're connected. Lead with love. Choose patience. Practice empathy. Be the kind of person who makes others feel seen. Because success without connection is noise, but success with deep bonds becomes harmony. Part 5. Cultivate unshakable character. Your character is the invisible force that defines the trajectory of your life. Not your words, not your performance, but who you are when no one is watching, when there's no audience, no applause, and no reward. Each day you're presented with choices, some small, some significant, and in those moments, you build or betray the person you claim to be. Character is not a performance. It is not a brand. It is the sum of your daily decisions, the ones made in quiet, under pressure, or behind closed doors. Integrity is choosing the right path when the wrong one is easier. It's keeping your word even when it costs you. It's being honest, not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. Reliability is not about being perfect. It's about being trustworthy. About doing what you said you'd do, when no one is tracking, when the attention is gone. Respect is not reserved only for those who agree with you. It's offered freely, especially to those who challenge you, test you, or disagree with you. Because how you treat others when there's nothing to gain reveals everything. Your character shapes your reputation. And while your credentials may open doors, only character will keep them open. Without character, success is fragile. It shatters when storms come. But with character, your success becomes stable, grounded, and enduring. Because people know they can count on you. Building character is not something you do once. It is a daily practice. It takes courage to confront your weaknesses, humility to admit when you're wrong, and discipline to live your values even when no one else does. It means aligning your actions with your beliefs, not just in easy times, but especially in moments of friction. It's not always dramatic. In fact, the strongest character is often the quietest. It's in how you treat the waiter, how you respond to inconvenience, how you behave when you think no one's paying attention. Every day, you are casting a vote for who you are becoming. So ask yourself, am I living with honesty? Are my actions aligned with my values? Am I dependable, even when it's difficult? Is my conduct a reflection of who I truly am? Because the answers to these questions don't just shape your day, they shape your future. Your name, your presence, your influence, all rise and fall based on your character. Build a name that outlives your achievements. One that carries weight, not because of status, but because of sincerity. Let your legacy not be one of temporary success, but of timeless integrity. Part 5. Conclusion. The inner path to outer growth. Each day, life offers you a mirror. You don't just see your reflection, you see your patterns, your reactions, your habits. And every day is an invitation to choose discipline over ease, focus over noise, growth over comfort, truth over appearance. Success is not an accident. Mastery is not given. Fulfillment is not discovered by chance. All of these are built moment by moment, word by word, decision by decision. Train your mind, move your body, guard your energy, sharpen your skills, speak life, lead with empathy, return to gratitude, protect your vision, and build character that speaks even when you're silent. When you do the work in private, you prepare yourself for impact in public. When you hold yourself accountable in small moments, life entrusts you with greater ones. You don't attract what you hope for, you attract who you become. And who you become is forged in the hidden hours, in the quiet choices, in the daily rituals that no one sees. So walk with clarity, live with intention, and move through life as a reflection of your highest self, not just for where you're going, but for who you're becoming along the way. Because in the end, true mastery is not just about what you achieve. It's about how you live.